Hello, my loves. I am so excited for you guys to be here because we have a incredible feedback call with a soul sister. Her name is Solei, and if you're watching this, the reason I would really love you to tune in is if you are coming through a really dark night of soul. You've just gone through an intense breakup. You are trying to navigate the waters of a separation and life and depression, and you're very spiritually awakened, and there's a lot coming your way, and you're just stuck. That was where Soleil was when we began our journey together, and I'm so excited for her to share her journey of what happened before, where she is now, and what can really happen for you too inside a space that encourages and supports healing and transformation from the dark nights. So tune in. I cannot wait to welcome her in. And if you feel it resonates with you at all at any point, there's going to be a link below where you can book in for a free call with me. And that gives you the opportunity to really explore with me where you're at, where you want to go, and to see if we can bring support for you too. Okay, my loves, she is here. Soleil, please, as you land in, just introduce yourself.
Hello. I'm Solei Barbatos. I'm 27, turning 27 next month. I'm a freelancer, so I do modeling, and I'm on the verge of getting my bar Pilates qualification next month. Yes. So I'm originally from Namibia, and I have been situated in Cape Town for about 9 years now by myself. So I had to grow up from a very young age, but the journey has definitely allowed me to become the woman that I am right now. So, yes.
Beautiful, baby. Always excited. Also amazing that you're doing your bar. So let's take a minute, land in, ground. I would love you just as we kickstart this conversation to just let yourself go back to where you were about 4 months ago. So just remembering before you started SEM, before you came into this portal, where were you kind of at in your life with relationships, journey, perception? What was happening in your world?
Okay. So, 4 months ago, 4 months ago, I was just recovering from a breakup. I was with my partner for about nearly 4 years. So that was really hard for me. I was completely lost. A way to put it was I did not see light at the end of the tunnel. I had all these ideas of what I wanted to do with my life, but there was just I didn't know how to even act on any of those ideas. I was in such a flight mode that my body completely shut down. Honestly, I was so disconnected from my body. And it was just dark. It was dark. I struggled to get up in the mornings. I didn't have motivation for life. There was no zest for or willingness of wanting to live per se. And yeah, I didn't, there was no routine. There was just, I slept, I was tired all the time. And it was draining, like I couldn't find anything that I just actually excited me on like a daily like lifestyle. Um, so because I was in such a dark space, also in terms of my emotional capacity, I did not understand how to even. I didn't understand my emotions. My emotions were a very, very scary thing. So it was very erratic as well, very high, very low, and I didn't know how to manage any of it. So when things got too much for me to handle, I'd we'd go over to substances. So weed was my biggest outlet. Not so much drinking, but I mean, we definitely did dabble. Let's not lie. So it was always, I was in a point of my life of like, I'm just trying to escape everything. I'm trying to escape the emotions. I'm trying to escape my reality because this is not real. This is just, I just was in such a dark hole that I just couldn't, I didn't feel there was any way to actually overcome it. And at that point, my parents were just like, Solei, there's actually nothing else anyone around you can do but you helping yourself. And I think that was the hardest part because you just don't know how to even start or where to begin. And starting this course was definitely the journey to finding my path and my light at the end of the tunnel.
I get all teary because like I remember the first call we had and like you were just like, I don't even know. And I was like, oh, Soleil. Because I also resonate, right? And I always feel like soulmates so align where like there are these moments in our life where it's such a dark night of soul and like there isn't a fucking tunnel, let alone a light at the end of it. And people are like, it's gonna be okay. So yeah, thanks for sharing like so vulnerably. It's so funny thinking of it now, seeing you like, but I'm definitely recalling that first call I was sitting in.
No, I mean, it's not even long that time, like 4 months ago. It's not that long ago, you know? It's something that I can still see, but it's just I can't even connect to those feelings anymore because it's non-existent, which is like a great feeling.
So crazy. So next question I would ask is, where
Sorry.
are you now? What has shifted for you in the last 4 months? What's happening in your life since that stage to now as you finish SEM? Share with us what's going on.
I think the most important thing for me was I have fallen in love with my life. I have fallen in love with myself. I was a person that was so easily able to give love to everyone around me and like put that on top, make that a priority. And one would think having a relationship with yourself, oh, that's easy. No, not so much. It's actually one of the most difficult things, being able to like have that relationship with yourself, getting to know yourself. It sounds crazy, but the relationship that you are building with others is actually just as simple as what you're having to do with yourself. And right now, that is the journey I'm on. I've built such a beautiful relationship with myself that I just want to keep knowing more. I want to keep learning more. I have such a good routine system, so much structure as well, which has helped so much. Um, my emotional capacity, oh my word, it is beautiful not to want to run away from your emotions anymore, which is just, I think this was one of the biggest challenges in my life since a little girl. And now, not to say that I've like mastered it, but I have the capacity and understanding of what I require in order to move through it and allow the emotions to pass through, which is, it's a powerful feeling, knowing that you're in control, knowing that I am in control, seeing my strength and knowing that I have the strength to overcome anything. Yes, obviously life becomes difficult, but it's perspective at the end of the day. And right now, there's just so much enthusiasm. There's so much excitement for what is yet to come. And honestly, there's so much faith and believing in I am able to achieve everything my heart desires. When you have that mental, this is how life is meant to be, and you're like, wow, this is like, I'm enjoying this. And also just being in touch with my emotions and myself, my intuition. It was so, I shoved it down so much that that voice was just so faint. Not even, it was non-existent. I think it was there, but it was just, I couldn't hear it. And now I was so easily able to trust everyone around me, but I trust myself to make the right decisions for my life. And I think that is also a very empowering feeling. I know I have the answers and I ask for that guidance, and it offers you that guidance, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
So yes.
it's so crazy to hear. And I think, always in these calls, just like having people reflect, it's like in 10 minutes trying to even begin to summarize like the struggle and the shift, right? Like when we as women have suffered from depression and we've been through a dark night and we've lost someone we've been with for 4 years and we're trying to piece together our reality, it can be a bottomless hole for people. Like I know I got stuck there for years. And so to hear it like, and it's just such a short space where it's like self-trust, knowing, faith, intuition, growth, like all of it is so crazy. It's something I'm also curious about genuinely, because I know when we first had our call, you were also really struggling with like work and just like your purpose and what was happening there. What's been happening in that area of your life as well?
So in the beginning, obviously what we covered was becoming your lover, having that relationship with yourself. And since I've been able to build that relationship with myself, I now know, or at least understand, what it is I'm wanting in my life. And I think when you're in such a dark hole, you're also just wanting everything to kind of just land so quickly. um, but everything lands when you have the capacity to hold it. So things have slowly been able to shift in my life with regards to my work as well. I have the confidence to show up better for my modeling right now. I have the confidence to put myself out there a bit more as well, which is also something I feared. I feared, like, the commentary from the world. But at the end of the day, like, this is me, and this is the platform I'm wanting to build and make a difference for the rest. So it doesn't matter. Everyone's always going to have an opinion around that. And I think right now it's just nice to see that slowly but surely, like, work has just been coming and coming and coming. I'm suddenly getting that financial stability that I'm wanting. And it's coming from different avenues, which is great. And along with that, I mean, I've always had a dream of, having my own company as well. And also, again, I don't know where to start. But again, even like I said in the beginning, I'm doing my bar Pilates course next month. And that is like, a small step forward to creating the future that I'm wanting, and within the capacity that I'm able to hold. And I think that's the most important thing. We try and rush all these things all the time, but it lands when it's meant to land and when you're ready to hold and grow with it, which is great. And I'm loving it.
Is great. But yes, always like guys, like pillar one, like you gotta become your lover, because then you have embodied confidence and you have embodied faith, and there is this understanding of capacity holding and growing with life, right? Like you get to
I
grow it.
think it's such a beautiful foundation. I think we need a foundation.
Yeah.
And that just allows us to then build, even as simple as understanding your morals, your values, those small little things that we don't really think about, but actually play such a massive role in our life when we're adults now, and when we make decisions, when we have encounters with people, these things play a massive role. When job opportunity comes as well, there's a job opportunity that landed in the beginning of the year, and I was just like, this does not align with me, but it was the financial stability that I wanted.
Mm.
However, I had to make that decision because I deserve more, and I am like, I deserve more, and I'm going to wait until what I'm wanting lands. And again, that opportunity came up. I'm like, no, it's having those boundaries to be able to make these decisions in your life. And I think that has also been a massive thing that I've been struggling with, is boundaries with myself, boundaries with people, boundaries with work, with life, all these things. It's just so important, such an important foundation that everyone requires. And we don't think about these things, but we
Game
don't.
change. Something I'm also curious to know about from you is obviously there's been like a freaking amazing radical shift and it's unfolding and unwhirling for you. But what were some of the main things that you did and we did kind of together to get you to where you are now in your journey?
I think one main thing for me was routine. And everyone finds routines that resonate with them. And oh my God, your routines in the beginning freaked me out so much. They were so overwhelming, only just because I came from a place that was just so unknown. And now suddenly trying to implement all these like things, I was like, I remember I messaged you and I'm like, I don't know what to do. But having those small little things that you tick off your list every morning or every evening, it's fulfilling. And sometimes one little tick makes such a massive difference because then you start building on those things, which I felt was, something that I will continue doing for the rest of my life now, and building on it as the capacity grows as well. Um, I just now know what I require in the mornings and in the evenings in order to start my day fresh and in order to go to bed with a peaceful and like restful mind. So that has been one of the biggest, you know, wins and requirements that I actually required. And honestly, you always emphasized writing lists, writing what you
Upholder.
are wanting. Yeah. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. And guys, it is real. It is real. It is real. Once you start writing those lists, you start seeing these things just show up. And you're like, I wrote this down yesterday. Where's this coming from? And the power of actually putting your intention and writing those things down, it like a process of manifestation in the slightest way. And it comes when it's ready. It shows up. And I guess it shows up if you're also willing to be open to these things, if that makes sense, because these things can always show up in the most mysterious and beautiful ways, but we don't actually, we aren't in the space of our lives to even recognize these things. And I guess once you also just start becoming a bit more specific of the things that you're wanting in your life, you then are able to kind of identify these things when they do pop up, which is also like, oh my word, I'm actually doing something right. And the things I'm wanting is it's popping up.
It's so crazy that you share it because I obviously I'm an upholder. If you're in SEM, you're gonna learn all about that. But there's such a power in for me, like SEM is very much based on neurological science and then like spiritual energetics and how they combined because we
Mm-hmm.
have to understand we're neurobiological creatures, right? And little things like sex energy, writing a list, but then doing it, it activates a dopamine kick in the body, which creates serotonin, which creates oxytocin, which embodies trust. And suddenly the darkness we're in changes, even if at the time we never knew how we could possibly shift it because the brain rewires, right? And it's like, it's so beautiful to see also how radical it can shift and how much then can change in a short space of time. Because I think if there's anyone watching this where you're like, I'm in such a dark place, nothing can budge me. I was there. I know Solei was there. And there are these foundational practices that build and transform. And it's like mind blowing.
Mind blowing. I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing is consistency, because I spoke to you about it as well, Em. It was, once you're trying to form and rewire your brain naturally wants to go to its or comfortable state or comfortable habits of what it's known. And I think that is where the trickiest part is, because you're doing all this work, you're wanting, you're putting all the intention in there, you're putting all this effort in, but you're just like, oh my word, this is actually not landing. This is nothing is working. But I think that is when You just need to have, yes, the rewiring is actually happening. And just once you actually overcome that little step, things start things start changing. And I think that's the beautiful thing. It's the consistency. It's consistency and discipline. I think that has been two massive um, factors that I've had to implement within this journey, and has definitely made a massive, or has contributed to where I am right now.
I love it so much. Another question on it is, was there anything that almost prevented you from going into SEM and staying in the method, like early days?
I wouldn't say there was anything that prevented me. It was just, it was a lot. It was overwhelming. It was, like I said in the beginning, it was coming from a space that I did not have the capacity to hold much. Now, getting all this new information of like how your life can change, and also the in my heart, I knew I needed a change. I needed something had to change in order for my life to change. And so I wouldn't say there was anything that kind of prevented me, but it was difficult. It was difficult at times where I just didn't have the capacity, but I had to do it because I knew the time that I'm investing right now is for me, no one else. And only I, like I said, can make the change in my life. So also being an obliger, having our weekly calls just made routine like exactly what I needed. So obviously, when I couldn't be there, it was like a reasonable explanation, but I ensured. I had my alarm set. I literally still have an alarm set for every Monday. I had my alarm set. I got up and I did it. And even though sometimes I dreaded it, I always came out feeling so much more better. So you do these things, but sometimes it feels like, why am I doing it? But then when you actually start doing it, you realize, oh my word, there's reasoning for it. And it helps being able to identify the things that actually make you feel better. I
Yeah.
think that was the biggest part. Um, not knowing what you enjoy, and then also being able to learn these things slowly. It's a relationship. I mean, we put so much time and effort into everyone else, and then, like I said, it's so weird to form this relationship with yourself. Why is that? It's like, what? But once you actually realize that it's a beautiful process, and it's one relationship that will actually never forsake you. You are the person that will never forsake you. And you able to actually look back on your life then, and a lot of my childhood was kind of like blocked out, and now I actually am able to look back, and you start seeing the patterns occur. You start making sense of things that you never really understood, and you're like, oh, okay, but now I actually, like, I accept myself for the parts that, like, for the person that I was. I'm not against her. I'm not, it's all part of who I am, and the person that I am right now, and the person that I am becoming. It all links.
Oh, but it's so beautiful that you touched on like subconscious resistance because it's something I think is so unspoken about in transformational containers. And it's so important. Like, if we don't go through resistance, we're not doing a good job, basically, because we want to rewire the part of you that is blocked and is stuck. And I guess another question I would have then is like, what really made you pull the trigger and carry on and continue? What was it that kept like your motivation or made it feel like, yes, this is worth it, I'm in?
In my heart, I knew, in my heart, I didn't have another choice. How about I put it like that? I didn't have another choice. It was either that, or I remain in the slump that I was in. There was no other. And yes, sometimes we're hard, yes, but we recognized that and we picked ourselves up again. I was all alone in this journey, yes, by myself. I had obviously the sisterhood, but it was my decisions again that would impact where I was or where I am right now. So again, that's when consistency and discipline came in. I had to be disciplined with myself. I had to have those conversations with myself and say, Solei, why are you doing this? You know, don't you realize this is something we're trying to unlearn? Don't you realize where is it that you are wanting to be? Asking yourself these questions. So yeah, I wouldn't say that something, stopped me from wanting to, continue the journey, but I guess I had to be my own cheerleader at that point because there was no other way. Honestly, there really just was no other way. So the resistance was there, but we had to find that strength to like push past that. And it's not easy, it really isn't. But once you actually see that you have the strength to also challenge your own resistance, I think that's where the powerful like aspect comes in. You're like, no, that little voice in my head, you are not in control. I am in control, and I'm going to tell you this is how I want to live. I'm going to tell you, and yes, we fall into those habits sometimes. It's okay. We have grace with ourselves, but as long as we recognize that, and I think that was also a biggest thing, was being able to recognize when I was kind of deviating off the path again, because I was so far off my path that I just wanted something new.
Yeah, that's so crazy. And also just the way you've come back so many times and then just stronger and deeper and more juicy. And it's like, yes, like so much to all of it. It's so, so good. Um, a final thing, and maybe just take a minute, like breathe into your body. But if you could honestly share to another woman who was thinking about joining SEM and she's kind of in the before joining stage, what would you want to say to her, honestly?
I have goosebumps. Oh, wait, I felt that. I feel like I just need to say, you came into my like life at such an important time, and I did not know that, but you were the person that was going to be such a massive change in my life. And these things don't just show up in our lives. And we need to be able to recognize this. And if you are being called and you resonate, even though there might be some resistance, there's a reason for you wanting to, or there's a reason for that resonation. Follow it, trust it, guide it, like allow it to guide you. It will not be, you won't regret it. It will only be for your benefit. And who knows what's to come from it? Okay, at least you tried. You have nothing to lose. And that's the beautiful like part of it. Try it, give it a try. Um, However, trust what is being shown to you and what is resonating with you, because there's a reason for it. There's a reason you showed up in my life last year in December. I didn't know it, but then came January and you were exactly what I needed, even though there was that resistance. And just taking that leap of faith, look where it got me. I met such beautiful people in the process. It's and these are things you are going to hold. Everything I've learned is valuable information that you will hold and carry for the rest of your life. And you'll be able to transfer it to your kids and the next generation. This is the teachings we are requiring in our life to, you know, change evolution, change the world 100%. Um, so don't give it a try. Trust it. It shows up for a reason. I promise you won't regret it.
Oh, baby. I always get like so teary on that. It is like it's so true and it's so accurate. And I always like go back to my younger self when I was starting my journey. And I'm like, thank God I said yes. And whenever there are women who come into the space, I'm always so grateful because I understand what it takes to say yes and to then
Mm.
go in and to really trust your intuition and your process when you're in such a rough space. But It's such a beautiful testament. You are such a beautiful testament. I am so fucking proud. Like, God, I wish I could go back to us in December.
I know it would be so different, but
Yeah.
everything happens the way it's meant to, honestly. And I couldn't have it any other way. I feel like now we're also able to have a better relationship because of that. Because now you were able to see where I was and who I am, and also the desires that I'm wanting in my life. So, you know, I gained a friend, I gained a sister, and I think that was also just such a beautiful end to this journey, because it gets lonely. It really does. But there are people you can rely on, genuinely.
Yeah, babe. And now there's such an important topic. Like when we start awakening and start shifting, it does get lonely. And again, one of the
Oh.
like hot spaces of creating a group was I remember how I felt and how I've still felt on my path was like where are the other women at who are going through intensity and they are spiritual transformers who are seeking a path where we actually can talk, where we actually can gather, where we can really go in and be seen and felt in our own journey, but transform. And it's been such an honor, and I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for you sharing. Thank you for being in this space, my
Oh, the thoughts gets me every time.
On that note, just for the girls, if you've watched to this point in the journey and you are feeling a resonance or a call, there will be a link below to book in a call with me. You are so welcome to. It's free and it gives us the space to explore your journey and where you're at. And as for us, Solei, baby, again, thank you for sharing.
And if there is anyone that requires, some guidance from an internal person that has gone through the journey, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help.
I love you. There you have it, girls. So it's not just me. You can have from the woman herself.
No, but that people that are resonating with wanting to start M's course, you sometimes also just want, some guidance from people that have actually done it. So there is, and there's a whole group of like sisters that we have created that would be willing to help.
So beautiful, baby. Thank you. And I love you.
I love you too, my M.